Good afternoon or good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me on this brief session, which I'm very excited about because this is the first time I get to show you Capture One running on an iPad. So let's bring it up on screen so you can actually see it. So I'm just editing as we speak, and just to prove I am actually working on an iPad, here it is. So you'll see as I change the picture here, you can see it fed onto your screen. It's just easier than showing you just the iPad. It's much easier to follow if you can see what's happening with the interface. Now, before we get to editing, a couple of things that I want to point out. First of all, this is not some lesser version of Capture One, if you like. So Image Core, the actual engine of Capture One, which is all about our image quality and the tools that you use to edit your pictures, is exactly the same on the iPad version. So if you edit a photo in Capture One for iPad, you can be assured of the same quality that you would expect on the desktop version. So it's completely developed from the ground up from iOS, but of course has that important DNA of Capture One inside it. Excuse me. So what we do is we edit a couple of pictures to give you an idea of the interface. Speaking of the interface, it's of course really important to point out that you can't just grab a desktop interface and put it on an iOS device. You could, but it wouldn't be very practical. Sliders are driven by mouse or pen. It's not as practical to try and, for example, adjust a curve on a desktop interface compared to something that's specifically designed to work on a tablet, as Capture One is. So right now you can see a fairly obvious intuitive interface, I would say. I've got my film strip down the bottom so I can bring up different photos as I wish. I can swipe to scroll through them as you would expect, I would think. And then of course you're ready to edit. Now in terms of editing, how do we hold a tablet? We tend to hold a tablet like I'm doing now. I've got it in both of my hands, cradling it if you like. So I've got access to left-hand thumb and access to right-hand thumb. Wouldn't it be nice if they could work together somehow to stop me having to move my hand, if you like, in front of the photo, covering up the interface and so on. So that's exactly what we've done with this. So down the left-hand side, you can see access to these various different tool sections, tool categories, tool tabs, as they're known in Capture One. So the first one is just simply star rating and color tagging. So let's drag my thumb. As you can see, as I slide my thumb up and down on the right hand side, that changes the star rating. And equally, if I tap here, I can apply the color tag as well. But you see, I didn't have to take my hand off the right hand side to start moving various different tools or palettes around. So it's much more comfortable if you're editing for the long haul. So secondly, let's go to the second category here, which is all our styles. Now these are the same styles that you would be available in Capture One. So let's actually put a style on this photo. So I'm going to go for, let's try Beyond, and let's pop a style on like so. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? That's just a one-click edit with the style, as you can see. Now you notice that all the interface then dived out the way. Then how did I do that? So just with a single tap, let's hide the style palette. Single tap on the right hand side hides all of the interface so I can get a good look at my edit. If I press and hold, just tap and hold, then we can see before and after, and you'll see up in the top left hand corner, if I indicate there, you can see it's indicating that it's before. But super great edit. One click with a style, very nice. Now tap again, my interface comes back. If I want to hide the film strip, I can just tap down here like so. So we've got a full screen editing experience. So let's go on and do another quick edit on a different photo. So I'm going to pick this one. Should we do that one? Yeah, let's do that. So now we need to do a bit more editing than just a one-click style. So let's actually dial in some Capture One adjustments that you know. So first of all, let's crop. So if I bring, just tap on the left-hand side here, this gives me my cropping options. So just using my fingers, I can crop to something like that. Let's extend that a bit. There we go. So now again, full screen, I can see, yep, that looks good. So I'm happy with the cropping. If I want to rotate, you'll see for the first time this rather wonderful wheel on the right hand side, which is designed specifically to use with your right hand and thumb like this. So if I just turn this wheel, then I can rotate the picture as I see fit. Probably doesn't actually need a lot of rotation, but for the sake of it, let's just dial a little bit in, maybe a bit more than that, like so. If we want to reset at any point, actually I didn't dial any in there at all, hang on, let's just do a little bit more, there we go. So if I want to reset at any point, we can just double tap in the middle, which is really nice. So you're used to on Capture One for desktop, double tapping with your mouse on a slider to take it back to 0. So exactly the same philosophy here as well. So I'm happy with my crop, as you can see in edit. So let's go and actually do some adjustments. So I chose just the 4th button down here, you can see on the left hand side. And this has a lot of the adjustments that you're used to, which I can scroll up and down like so to get to those different categories. So what do we want to do with this picture? Well, first of all, we can see it's a bit bright. So let's pull the exposure down. So if I tap on the exposure option over here on the left, then you see it expands out on the left hand side of the screen, and I can choose these different editing options. So first of all, I said it's a bit bright, so let's use our wheel. We can obviously make brighter, or we can go darker. So we want to go a little bit darker, a few points like that. And again, as I said, if I want to quickly reset this, I can just double tap in the middle and we're back to 0. Really nice. So you don't have to fiddle around getting it in the right spot, which would be annoying. Let's go and adjust our HDR. So if I choose highlights, let's bring those highlights down. It's a bit bright on his jacket over here on the right hand side. Now, what if you wanted to monitor the histogram? So 2-finger tap anywhere on the screen, histogram pops up. Let's just hide the overhead view for a second. So you can see the histogram now appears. If I just double tap again, then it goes away. So that's just a really simple, nice way to hide and show your histogram. So 2-finger tap for that. Where were we? So we dropped our highlights down a little bit. If I click and hold, remember that's our before and after. So long press anywhere on the screen, we get our before and after like so. Do we need to open up the shadows? Let's see, maybe that would look a little bit better. So we get a bit more life back into the shadows, and we can also add some clarity too. So in terms of being able to zoom in, if we wanted to add some structure, I wouldn't on this picture, but it's just the gesture that you would expect a 2-finger expand or compress so we can zoom in onto the photo. So nice and simple, exactly what you would expect. Let's do a color edit. Now this is really nicely done for the interface. So first of all, I want to pick a color to edit. So let's grab our color picker and just click on the grass. So you see the cross hair that came up. That's now indicating which color you see over here on the right hand side that I want to pick. I can of course manually select, or I can use the picker. If we go on this gent's jacket as an example, you can see that it's identified the nearest color patch. So let's go back onto the grass again. If I grab the saturation option, then I can take a bit of saturation out the grass, and then to finish, let's grab vignetting and just put a bit of a vignette too. Once again, if we want to see before and after, simple click and hold, and away we go. Let's open up. Shall we do one more? Let's take this third edit like so. And the reason why I'm doing something like these wedding edits, it's very typical, of course, for a wedding photographer to need to quickly do some edits during the wedding. People are desperate to see them straight away. They can put them up on screen at the reception, but it's nice to be able to do a quick edit like this on a nice small compact device like an iPad. And then, of course, what I would want to do to maybe finalize the edit on a desktop with a calibrated screen and a few more tools that are available in Capture One, I can then send this to my desktop to then finish the editing workflow. But let's go ahead and do this one as well. So first of all, let's bump up the exposure so I can pick that over here on the left hand side, use the thumb wheel to brighten that up. So let's go to something like this. Notice when I change the wheel, this is a really nice UI touch, that over on the left hand side where we normally see the different tools that you can select, that disappears. So I get a nice clear view of the interface. So that's a really nice thought. So let's brighten this up a little bit. Go to our HDR tool. We've got our shadows selected. Let's open those up a little bit as well. We're lacking in a bit of contrast now, so I can quickly go back to the contrast slider or rotator, whatever we want to call this. So add in a bit more contrast and maybe a tiny bit of clarity too. How's our highlights doing? So 2-finger tap, we can check our histogram. Remember, that's just up there in the top right hand corner. So I do need to control my highlights a bit more. So if I pick my highlights, then I'll bring those down to get them in better control as well. Finally, bit of vignette again, why not? Like so, and let's adjust the crop. So back to this one, and I'll pull this side. Let's pull that down to frame them a bit better. And away we go. Once again, before and after, click and hold. That's how we started, and that's how we finished. So just a nice simple edit that gets it a bit more image ready to, as I said, show at the reception or something like that, but with the full editing capabilities of Capture One. So there we have it. That is Capture One on the iPad. I haven't covered everything. Of course, we've got functionality like copy and paste. You can see down here on the right hand side with those tools. So we could copy those same edits onto a batch of pictures. We had a brief look at the color editor, but of course dehaze is in there as well. White balance adjustment, we can convert to black and white quite nicely, as you can see, and with the same adjustments that you would expect in Capture One Pro. Because as I said at the beginning, it's using exactly the same processing engine, image core, as we call it in Capture One. Finally, at the bottom, we've got the ability to play with the sharpening. So if we wanted to adjust sharpening, let's just go in a bit closer to this fine couple, and you've got exactly the same tools again that you're used to. So if I want to dial up the sharpening a bit on this shot, then I can do so as quick as that. So there we have it. That's just a little sneak introduction into how Capture One is looking on the iPad. I've really enjoyed using it. The interface is brilliant with the way this is set up with tools on the left and the adjustment on the right. You can switch it if you prefer to. So if you want the tools on the right and the thumb wheel on the left, then you can do so quite easily in the preferences. But as I said, I've really enjoyed using it. It's great to have the tools that you know and love in the compact form of a high-performing tablet. If anyone's interested, this is an iPad Pro with the M1 Pro processor, but you can see the speed and responsiveness. It's fantastic. So there we go. That's Capture One on the iPad. More news about it coming soon, but we're really excited to get it into your hands. Thanks very much. Bye now.